Jesus said that whoever doesn't believe in him will perish. He says so in John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him will not perish, but have everlasting life. Whoever believes in him will not perish, but have everlasting life. If you do not believe in Jesus, you perish. You perish. What does Jesus mean by perish? Well, it's exactly the opposite to everlasting life. Whoever believes in him will not perish, but have everlasting life. Since everlasting life is interpreted to mean that after I die, I go to heaven and live forever and ever and ever, well, since perish is the opposite of that understanding of eternal life, then it's assumed that instead of going to heaven and living forever and ever and ever, to perish means the exact opposite. You will go to hell and live forever and ever and ever. That's based on the assumption that eternal life means after death, you go to heaven and you live forever and ever and ever. If you watch my previous video, which is just up here, I deal with what did Jesus mean by eternal life in John 3:16. You may want to go there now and watch that and then come back to this one. First of all, how are we going to find out what Jesus means by perish? Well, first of all, there's nothing in John 3:16 that says that this is something that happens to you after you die. Number one, look at the tenses of the verbs. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, past tense, that whoever believes in him, present tense, will not perish, present tense, but have, present tense, everlasting life. By believing, you have eternal life now. It's not talking about what happens to you after you die and where you go. If you believe in him, you will not perish now, but you will have everlasting life now. You have everlasting life. So Jesus is talking about two spiritual states in the present. If you believe in him, you have everlasting life now, not after death. And you will not perish now. Can't mean hellfire. Impossible. Because most of the world doesn't believe in Jesus right now, and they're not in hell right now. But they are perishing right now. They do not have eternal life right now. And if you believe in Jesus, you have eternal life, not will have. Okay? So first of all, there's nothing in the text to indicate that perish talks about going to hell after you die. It's talking about something about your condition here and now. If you don't believe in Jesus, you don't perish, but you have, present tense, everlasting life. So perishing relates to what's going on to you in the here and now, not in the hereafter, in hell. No, that's the first thing. Number two, even if you don't believe in Jesus and you are currently perishing, it doesn't say there that you're stuck in that condition for all eternity. What does it say that? It says if you don't believe in the present, you perish in the present. So what do you have to do? Start believing. And you won't perish in the present, and you'll have everlasting life in the present. So there's nothing there that this condition is permanent, and there's nothing in the text to indicate that this is something that happens to you in the hereafter. It's just not there. What does it mean to perish? What does it mean to perish? I want you to have a look at the various translations that are going to come up on your screen right now. You'll notice, one at a time, in each of these translations, instead of the word perish, can you see them? They're coming up. They'll be in capitals. Instead of the word perish, it said you will not be lost. Look at them all. They're all coming up on your screen. But whoever believes in him will not be lost. Can you see how many English translations have abandoned the word perish? Most modern English translations, and they should have come up on your screen, have used the word lost. Didn't use the word perish. It has the word lost, and it doesn't use the word hell. Well, that makes sense. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him will not be lost. Will not be lost. That's all. If you don't believe in Jesus, you're lost. You're lost. So number one, it's not talking about something that happens after death. It's talking about something that happens to you right now. And it's not permanent, number three. And it simply means to be lost. The Greek word is apolumi. That same Greek word is used in the three parables in Luke 15 about the lost coin, the lost sheep, and the lost son. Apolumi, apolumi, apolumi. Lost. The sheep was lost, and then it was found. The coin was lost, and then it was found. And the son was lost, and it came home, and then it was found. Being lost comes before being found. There's nothing permanent about this at all. You're just lost. Whoever believes in him will not perish, will not be lost. What does it mean by lost? Well, it doesn't mean hellfire. Well, how can we tell? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him will not be lost, but have everlasting life. Will not be lost, but have everlasting life. To be lost, to perish, means the exact opposite to everlasting life. So if we can find out what everlasting life is, to be lost means the exact opposite. Well, guess what? Jesus, in this same book, chapter 17 of John 17 verse 3, he tells us what everlasting life actually means. And when we get this definition, we're going to see what it means to be lost, because it's exactly the opposite. John 17:3 says this: "This is everlasting life, that they may know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom you have sent." This is eternal life, to know God and to know Jesus. Not to know about God or to know about Jesus, but to know God. The first time the word know appears in the Bible is with Adam and Eve. And Adam knew his wife and they conceived. It's talking about the most intimate relationship possible. Well, this is all making so much sense now. If everlasting life means an intimate relationship with God, then to perish is exactly the opposite to everlasting life. It just means you don't know God. Everlasting life is to know God. To perish or to be lost means you don't know God. And if you don't know God and Jesus, you're lost. That's what it means to be lost. And you're lost now. Now. John 3:16 is not saying that if you don't believe in Jesus that you will go to hell, you will perish. No, it simply means that you don't know God. You're lost in the here and now. And if you don't know the Father, as revealed through Jesus, you're lost. You're lost. For the purposes of this teaching, we've established that when Jesus said you will perish if you don't believe in him, he didn't mean hellfire. He just meant in the current, you don't know God. You don't have eternal life. To perish means you're not in relationship with Jesus. And the lost coin was found. And the lost sheep, the shepherd went after it and found it. And the lost son came home, and the father ran to him, and he was found. There's nothing permanent about being lost. It comes before being found. God bless you.